We are, as a people, inherently and historically opposed to secret societies, opposed to secret oaths, opposed to secret proceedings. No official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, would interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
All right. Welcome back to Conspiracy Corner Podcast, everyone. This is Abe, your host. It is 11:10 a.m., August 2nd, 2026. Third episode for today. It's Conspiracy Corner episode. Go check out the other two episodes I put out today. I've been banging them out. I got 2 days off in a row. I put out 3 yesterday, and this will be the third one today. So 6 episodes in the past 2 days. Trying to get those numbers back up, you know. As far as an update, I fixed some breakfast, did a fried bologna sandwich, fry up some bologna, butter 2 sides of bread, and then you put cheese in it, 2 slices of cheese. Next time I'm going to do another piece of bologna though, 2 pieces of bologna, and grill it like a grilled cheese, you know. It's pretty good. It's kind of like a southern thing. You see it a lot here in Kentucky for like breakfast food. That was my late breakfast this morning. I did some yard work. I did some trimming. I actually don't mind showing you, so I went ahead and, by the way, yeah, dude, I chopped up a snake over here. Look at that shit. Motherfucker was trying to creep up on me, man. Yeah, all this big pile right here is all the limbs that I cut because on the roof had some issues. We think it probably was damaged from the limbs. My ladder doesn't reach up that far, so I can't get that one, but I cut all that shit, and there's one pile. And then over here, there's a gigantic pile over there next to that tree. So yeah, just trying to cause less damage to the roof. You can see one of our gutters fell down. We're getting there. I gotta go back up there with a ladder though and put some tarp. This is where basically the leak is like right about there where because this room was added on, right where the trailer meets this added on room. So yeah, that'll be fun. I'm gonna put some tarp up there because I see there's rain clouds rolling in. Sammy gets off at noon. So yeah, I weeded this, trimmed all that shit. This is my backyard though. Just been doing yard work all day today. Sammy gets off at noons. I had time to do one more episode for podcasting. Then I'm going to hang out with her, figure out what we're going to do for dinner. We may do some 127 yard sale. I don't know though, because it's supposed to rain. We'll see whatever she's in the mood for. There's a craft fair going on. Probably won't be able to go to it though, because it's an hour drive away. So by the time we get there, it'll probably start raining. I don't know. We'll see. But I at least wanted to put out one more episode since I have at least 30 minutes, you know. So let's get on with the show. Oh, real quick though, I do have a Buy Me a Coffee account set up in the link below. If you donate to the channel, I will snail mail you a Conspiracy Corner podcast bookmark. I will sign the back of it. Unless you don't want it signed, then just message me through Buy Me a Coffee. It's going to help me fix my roof. The money's going to go towards that. And then I also have a doctor bill that's $113 that I need to pay. So, yeah, fun. It never ends. But yeah, I'm not a grifter. I have a full-time job. My wife has a full-time job. Everything I put out is free content, a decade's worth. We're on episode 750 or something like that. Yeah. But if you like the content and you want to help me out, buy me a coffee. It's in the link below. All right. So, last episode earlier today, we covered the Senate committee hearing with Dr. Fauci. One thing that apparently has been brought up, this was July 29th, 2026. Apparently something that was brought up, so this was 3 or 4 days ago. Something that was brought up during the Senate hearing committee was apparently Dr. Fauci's diary during COVID-19. Diaries can either be the best thing as far as historical record.
These are the Millers.
Really? Why are you
They
playing?
just
I didn't even
discovered
click on
the
you.
sound of earning and saving money on Vinted.
Hang on. What the fuck? I didn't even click on you. Sorry about that. They can be awesome for like historical record, you know, for historical purposes as far as like us in the future looking at the past, but they can also bite you in the ass. And it's bitten Dr. Fauci in the ass apparently. I actually don't know what's in this diary. I'm curious if there is a PDF out there. I don't really delve into usually like PDF files. And I don't mean that as a joke, but like a PDF file stuff, because it's usually super lengthy. I don't have the time. Like I said, I have a full-time job. My days off, I'm doing work around the house or work in general, running errands. I'm busy as fuck. And podcasting is not my full-time job. I wish it was. That would be awesome. That's my dream job. You know, I would love to be a full-time podcaster. It ain't gonna happen though. But I don't have the time and energy to pour over thousands of pages of something. I've said that with multiple different subjects on this channel. I will kind of do an overview of it, of what I can find digging around online. But so here's 4 takeaways from Dr. Anthony Fauci's diary ahead of his Senate testimony. So committee chair Rand Paul accused Fauci of deceiving Americans about COVID-19, which he did. I don't really see the point of saying he's accused. It's pretty much a fact at this point that Fauci lied about everything when it comes to COVID-19. You would actually have to be a conspiracy theorist to trust and believe anything the guy says. But yet we're called the conspiracy theorists, you know. It's cognitive dissonance. And it's also gaslighting of like, I'm going to accuse you of what I'm doing, you know. Just crazy shit. We all know how the sheeple work, you know, and the mainstream media. Dr. Anthony Fauci will sit before Senate's Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee, the HSGAC, on Wednesday, which we covered that in the last episode, in what will surely be a fiery hearing before a committee chaired by Republican Senator Rand Paul, who has long accused Dr. Fauci of deceiving Americans about the origins of the COVID-19 pandemic. Paul is expected to focus on Fauci's private journal, aka his diary entries between December 2019 and December 2022. So here's the thing, it's been so long, and I've put out so many fucking episodes that it's so hard to keep track. I think we had mentioned in passing Fauci's diary, where it's been like, shit, 7 years ago now, 6 or 7 years ago since COVID-19. It's hard to remember everything that I covered, you know, but I don't think we ever did a complete episode talking about his diary, you know, so let's delve into it now. Over the weekend, Paul released a tranche of Fauci's journal entries, a more than 1,100 page document. So right there, not trying to beat a dead horse, but this is why I say, dude, like, I do not have the time to pour over 1,100 pages of Fauci's diary. I just don't. But apparently it's out there. I would love to see if there's a PDF. If there is, let me know in the comments. Let me know if there's anything that I missed that's important. If you have read Fauci's diary, I'm very curious of what all is said in there. I know years ago, I remember hearing stories about what some of the stuff that was in there is pretty damning. But yeah, it's revealing his inner thoughts about the origins of COVID-19, a detailed log of events within the White House situation and press briefing rooms, and his myriad media appearances about the response to COVID-19 and other health outbreaks. What other health outbreaks? Well, Fauci has been up to some shady shit since, I believe, the AIDS pandemic, which was what, the 1990s, possibly late 80s, when he was selling expired AZT, knowing that AZT was killing AIDS victims, but he still suggested it, prescribed it, and sold it because they had a bunch of AZT that was going to expire, and they just had to sell it. Drugs kill, you know? Don't do drugs, kids. And by the way, these people don't care about you. They're literally drug dealers. They don't care if you live or die. They just want the money. Go look this shit up. Fauci has been up to shenanigans since the AIDS pandemic. Well, Abe, how come you didn't say nothing about it? Well, I was a little kid, and during the 90s, you know. Paul subpoenaed Fauci, the former director of National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, to testify about his time leading the country's pandemic response. Paul said he aims to hold Fauci accountable for his oversight during the response and has called for Fauci's imprisonment in the past. Yeah, that's what Fauci deserves. Guantanamo Bay. Crimes against humanity. Yeah, the dude honestly deserves a guillotine or a noose, but, you know, the streets should be flowing with rivers of blood right now, with not even just Fauci, multiple other people, whether it be treason, crimes against humanity, pedophilia, cannibalism, all sorts of crimes these people commit, you know. However, Fauci has protection from potential prosecution because of a preemptive pardon issued by the former President Joe Biden. And I said this last episode, I don't see how this is even legal. I don't even see how this preemptive pardon is even credible. Would be a good word for it. And by the way, I think this is literally the first time that I've ever heard of a U.S. president ever granting a preemptive pardon. Like I said last episode, if you're not guilty of anything, why do you need a preemptive pardon? This should be waking up a lot of people. But sadly, it hasn't. There's still sheeple out there who are just ignore this type of thing. You try to tell them about it, and they're just like, I don't want to hear about it. You know, because they don't want to admit that they're wrong and that they fucked up and they chose the wrong side during the pandemic. And a lot of them have regret that they took the vaccine, you know. It's harder to convince someone they are wrong than, I forget the phrase. You know what I'm saying. In a statement announcing the pardon of Fauci and others before he left office, Biden said it was not issued because of any acknowledgement of wrongdoing or as an admission of guilt of any offense. It was issued because of threats of unjustified and political motivated prosecutions by future administrations. I do have to say I admire Biden's right there. That's smart as fuck. I don't agree with it. I think it's fucked up, but you got to admit he's smart as fuck the way he phrased that. This week, Paul also told reporters that he used his subpoena powers to obtain what he is calling Tony's diary, quote unquote. I like that. Maybe that I might title it that. Who knows? While it's not clear who or what entity Paul subpoenaed to obtain the diary entries, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Whoop whoop. Sorry, I'm gay for RFK. I supported him during his presidential run. Unfortunately, we got Donald Trump. You know. So it says right here, though, it's not clear who Paul subpoenaed to obtain the diary entries. Hopefully they keep that hidden in secret, because if that gets out, I could see it being kind of like a Clinton death list of, like, I could see something happening to those person who handed over the diary. But it says that RFK Jr. said Monday on Fox News that he provided the records to the committee. Oh, well, if RFK Jr. said it, we all know the Kennedys have a gigantic target on their head, literally. I'm surprised RFK's even still around. It would not surprise me if he caught a bullet tomorrow. I mean, they took out his dad, they took out his uncle. The elites hate the Kennedys, you know. They took out JFK Jr., what was that, his cousin, you know. It took us about 8 months to dig these out of 11 separate servers where they had been sequestered and secreted, and we handed them over this week to Rand Paul and Senator Ron Johnson, RFK said. Here's what we know about Fauci's notes and how they shape Wednesday's showdown. The COVID-19 origin, lab leak, or was it natural spillover? Fauci's journals do not reveal new information about the origin of the pandemic. Fauci, in agreement with the WHO, has long contended the most likely scenario is that the virus spread from animals to humans, called the spillover theory. Paul has long said that the virus was likely released from a laboratory in China that was studying coronavirus. I agree with that theory. After years of inquiry investigations, there is still no definitive answer. Okay, we know for a fact that Fauci was involved with gain-of-function research. We know for a fact that gain-of-function research was done in Wuhan. We can kind of use, not Occam's razor, but 1 + 1 = 2. You know, by the way, we have to be real careful of just automatically believing that this diary is fucking real. Who's to say that this shit wasn't written to muddy the waters? Who's to say this diary isn't a psyop? I mean, we are in psyop season, you know? We just have to be careful with any type of information that we get. This whole diary thing could be a distraction. It could be a psyop. It could be fake. He literally could have, the elites could have told him, hey, write a fake diary. Here's all the shit we want you to write in it. And then we will conveniently hand it over. You know? You see what I'm saying? You got to be careful about everything, dude. Fauci convened a February 1st, 2020 call with top scientists to debate the origins. He wrote in his journal that scientists were not in agreement about the most likely scenario, lab leak or natural spillover. Sounds to me right there that they didn't have all their ducks in a row. This is why I say that even the elites don't have everything down packed. And, yeah, they don't have everything down packed, man. 2 of the 12 scientists were convinced the virus came out about naturally, while the rest of the group felt that deliberate insertion was possible. So 10 out of the 12 have a brain on their shoulders who were like, hey, I think this was a lab leak, bro. Referring to the possibility the virus had been studied in a lab, gain-of-function research, and we could not let this go. Paul called the documentation extraordinary and told reporters on Tuesday that we've probably never ever seen people so completely at odds with the private thoughts and then publicly proclaiming the opposite of what they were truly saying in private. Agreed. Everything that Rand Paul says, I'm just like, agreed. Fauci has consistently said that it's his opinion that natural spillover is the most likely scenario. Of course he would say that. But he has also constantly acknowledged that there is no definitive proof for any theory of the pandemic's origin. Sounds like doublespeak. Did Fauci mislead the public? Paul is expected to drill down on diary entries from the earliest days of the COVID-19 outbreak that he claims show Fauci knowingly misled the public about the origins of the pandemic and botched the response. For example, Paul has seized on the diary entry from January 26, 2020, in which Fauci acknowledges data showing infections spread weeks before it was detected at a Wuhan wet market, where early reports claim the virus originated, which we all know that bat soup story was fucking retarded and false. We were calling that shit out as soon as they were even saying it. However, Fauci wrote that he believed the market to be an amplifier for the spread of the virus. Okay, devil's advocate, I could see that it could have amplified it, possibly. Rather than the first spark, which is consistent with the public comments he made at the time. Fauci maintained that the entry that the virus originated from animal to human transmission. Now we know the market was not the source, it was the amplifier, Fauci wrote at the time, having said that somewhere the virus jumped from animals to human. Like I said, he could have wrote that in the diary to save his ass preemptively. I'm sorry, man. You've got to... I hate to be like this, but, I mean, this is a conspiracy podcast for one, and you never know. Erosion of Trump's trust. While leading NIAID, Fauci was tapped by the... I love how they use that skull and bones term right there. Fauci was tapped. You notice that the occultic language, the secret society type of words, you know? So Fauci was tapped by the White House to head the COVID-19 response, along with a team of health officials. Early on, Trump said that the late Fox News host, Lou Dobbs, told him Fauci was the quote-unquote smartest person around. And of course, Donald Trump is a fucking moron. He completely dropped the ball on fucking COVID. I do have to say that. He's dropping the ball now. The dude fucking sucks, man. You know? It is what it is. So, he said, he was told that he was the smartest person around, so of course Trump believed Lou Dobbs. When Fauci met with the president in January 2020, he titled the entry, "Amazing Day Today," quote unquote, explanation point, in his journal, and recalled Trump telling Fauci he was a really famous guy. Fauci also disputed early media reports of tension between him and the White House. In the journal, of course, they were probably, now we know, like, they were pretty much, it sounds like they were all in on this shit together, man. I do not trust Trump as far as I could throw him. You know, and I used to be a Q-tard years ago. I fell for it. I ain't gonna lie. I fell for the psyop. You know, no one's perfect. Even William Cooper, you know, king of conspiracy, fell for the alien psyop and later regretted it and preached against it. But Fauci soured on Trump as the president downplayed the spread of the pandemic and fueled unsubstantiated theories about the virus. He began to describe Trump's press conference in his diary painfully rambling and stream of consciousness. Fauci also claimed Trump was spewing nonsense on the campaign trail in 2020, calling him a quote-unquote true embarrassment. Fauci's fame. Fauci, 85 years old, mused about his time as the face of the country's pandemic response and how his coverage in the media helped him discover fame. So he liked that. He wrote about that in the diary, huh? Fauci repeatedly described brushing elbows with celebrities, public figures, including Barbra Streisand, Julia Roberts. By the way, fucking Broken Simulation, they were talking about Julia Roberts was like jizzing her pants because apparently Julia Roberts has a podcast. Everybody has a fucking podcast right now. It's insane. Like every actor and shit. Hollywood is dead, so that's why they're all starting podcasts. But who the fuck actually listens to Julia Roberts' podcasts? You know, I'd say the guiltiest of my pleasures was listening to the Osbournes podcast. I will admit that. That was my guilty pleasure as far as podcast. But there's somebody out there who actually listens to Julia Roberts' podcast. That just blows my mind. But yeah, she was like jizzing her pants about how, oh my God, I got goosebumps. We got a really cool guest on today. It's Dr. Fauci. You know. So stupid. He recounts dozens of times that he appeared on national broadcast television and the reporters he would interact with on a weekly basis. Fauci would also attach newspaper clippings that explored his newfound buzz. So he literally turned his diary into a scrapbook. He was so proud of himself for being on TV and interviews and meeting these celebrities. What a little bitch-ass fucking goblin. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do the same thing, but I'm not doing the devil's work over here. If anything, I'm trying to do God's work over here. I believe in my heart of hearts that I'm doing more good with this podcast than evil. But this dude, like, is literally celebrating that he got to hang out with Hollywood Babylon. Oh, good for you, buddy. And Operation Mockingbird Media. He kept newspaper clippings of it and kept it in his diary. What a piece of shit. He wrote, "It is not hyperbole to say that today I am the most famous and talked about person in the country and one of the most recognizable people in the world. Due to the countless front page articles and profiles, Fauci included he wrote that, by the way. Talk about a big ass head, man. Literally, like, I am one of the most famous people in the world. Due to the countless front page articles and profiles, Fauci included a 2020 Washington Post article featuring Speaker Emerita Nancy Pelosi. She fucking sucks. What a lush too, man. She's fucking drunk 24/7. Who had expressed confidence in him for dedicating his life's work, quote unquote, to preventing the spread of disease. Oh, I almost used the H word, but I eliminated it from my vocabulary. Ooh, I very highly dislike these people. These people are next level fucking evil, man. He also attached a separate post column that described why Anthony Fauci is the greatest public servant I have known. This was an article written by a Michael Gearson. Hey, Michael Gearson, go fuck yourself. What a fucking bootlicker. Michael Gerson. Wow. Why Anthony Fauci is the greatest public servant I have known. He is literally... He's going to go down in history if the good guys win. Doubtful, but if we win, he's going to go down as like one of the worst human beings ever. Worse than Hitler, you know? Him, Bill Gates, like they're all going to be, if we win, literally history books will look back on this time period and be like, what the fuck? How did you all let that shit happen? In one interview, Basketball Hall of Famer, there you go, bread and circus, guys. Hall of Famer Farmer Bob Cousy, Famer Bob Cousy is this guy's name, is quoted lauding Fauci as one of his quote-unquote heroes. Do you guys remember when they had Dr. Fauci candles? Like, kind of like one of those little saint candles that I showed you guys the other day? The Mother Mary, the Jesus ones, the Saint Michael ones. They actually had Dr. Fauci candles. Do you guys remember that shit? They had a Bill Gates one. It was fucking mind-blowing. These people are literally the COVIDian cult, man. Fauci has also raved about his viral moments, including wearing a Washington Nationals baseball mask. There you go, your little Illuminati ceremonial dark magic mask with representing bread and circus baseball. Baseball, by the way, a Masonic game. It's literally a scale and compass. It's a Masonic game, you know. First degree, second degree, third degree, home run, master, you know. Master Mason now. Home run. We're going to have to do a whole episode on the masonry behind baseball. It's literally a Masonic game. It's crazy. During the 2020 that he wore at a hearing during Capitol Hill, the Nats mask that I wrote to hearing is being put into the Cooperstown MLB Hall of Fame. So that mask that he wore during a hearing, a baseball mask, is in the Cooperstown MLB Hall of Fame right now. This shit makes me sick. But yeah, there's just some little passages of what is in Dr. Fauci's diary. Pretty disgusting shit. It literally is cringe as fuck. I'm not going to read through 1,100 documents. If you guys have read through it, if you guys have heard of any crazy thing that I did not cover about his diary, any weird passages, hit me up in the comments below. I would love to hear about it. You can send me links, whatever. Yeah, let me know what you guys think. It's fucking disgusting.